Okay. According to most people, the best thing in sports is winning. So, and as legendary Notre Dame's coach say, show me a gracious loser, and I'll show you a failure. In today's society, we have a fixation on who is the best, and the only thing that matters at the end of a game is who won. And in most of us who compete in sports, when you finish second or third, it's not, you still have the emotional, like you still lost. It doesn't matter if you lost by a point, it doesn't matter if you lost by 1 goal, but you still lost. And I believe that the use of performance-enhancing substances should not be banned by sports organizations, but should rather be controlled and regulated. In the last 6 years, according to Major League Baseball, the number of steroid users has gone up. And despite the fact that if they're illegal and that they have been, everyone has been warned and stopped, athletes are still using the steroids. The main example being Alex Rodriguez. He is one of the most, let's say, he's one of the star players in baseball, and everyone knows Alex Rodriguez. But despite the fact that he admitted to using steroids, he has been hitting home runs, and people have been paying a lot of money just to go watch him play. So with this, he has raised the level of performance, and everyone in here who's paying $100 to go to Dodger Stadium or Angel Stadium to go watch a baseball game, you don't want to sit there for 10 innings and all they're doing is just running the plate. You want to go to the game and see balls flying out of the park from every angle. So I don't know about you, but I'd rather have him steroid up and hitting baseball. At the biggest stage of it, at the Olympics, Marion Jones set the record for the fastest time in women's 100 meters and 200 meters. Everyone watched the 2000 Sweden Olympics, and Marion Jones was a household name in Africa too. I was out for Marion Jones because she was fast. But who thought that she was on performance-enhancing drugs? No one. Up until last year, when she came out and said that she was using the performance-enhancing drugs, everyone was saddened by the story. But according to the athlete, the main problem is, yes, she was stripped of the gold medals and everything that she won, and she was in jail for 6 months. But the main story is, with the performance-enhancing drugs, the level of competition was raised from the bar that it was before to where she put it. And if you watch the Olympic Games, it wasn't so far off. When she finished like a couple of seconds before the other lady. So it wasn't saying that just because she was a drug, that made her race faster than the other ladies. But also, it made my other example in the Olympics is, when you're at the Olympics, you're representing a whole country. You're there, and there's a lot of pressure as an athlete as representing a whole nation. So obviously, thinking from their perspective, they also have an extra edge to perform, and this is why most of them will lead to, they will do anything to win. So why not, if they regulated the use of performance-enhancing drugs, then there will be a fair level of competition. Most people will argue, no, this is unfair for them. But the athletes is that they still have, they're still, they still have the natural instinct, and they're still good. They still have to train harder. They still have to practice all day. But this is just like a supplement to help them even better. I have a question. Most of us are avid sports fans, or I think, and would you rather watch the NBA, right now the playoffs are going on, or women's basketball? Most of you are watching the NBA, and I watch women's basketball, not the volleyball, the basketball. But men's basketball, the thrill of watching people flying through the air. I'm not saying that they use performance-enhancing drugs, but the thrill and the entertainment that comes with a higher level of competition compared to the thrill of like a different game, it's not the same. Sports is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and the owners have placed a high expectation on athletes to do better. And so have the athletes. They're getting million-dollar contracts, and they have to do better. As a fan, you're paying a $150 ticket to watch a game, and you want them to do better than. You don't want to sit at a game and start sleeping. You pay $10 to watch a movie, you can sleep, that's okay. But you don't pay $150 to go watch someone do something that you can do. Michael Phelps is not on drugs, but he was doing some drugs. no performance-enhancing drugs, that's performance-slowing drugs. They should ban athletes from using marijuana and coke, but a little steroids in Alex Rodriguez that makes him hit 100 home runs, 10 in each game. Come on, people, that's value for your money. I hope that after today, when you go sit at the game and you're watching a game, just think about the changes that could have been made by the organizations such as the International Olympic Committee or the UEFA, so that they can regulate the use of performance-enhancing drugs. The main thing people argue is that the side effect of steroids, the side effect of these performance-enhancing drugs. But the truth is, there hasn't been sufficient research to find the positive side of it because it's not legal. So you can, they can conduct any research into the subject without having it legalized or legislated. Thank you.
All right, Michael, what did you think?
I thought his point was clear that drugs is good as long as you pay for it. And entertainment is everything. And he looked around up a lot, and then his card says to us, and kind of went different ways. Sometimes about winning and then going to steroids. But I thought it was a clear point. I understood what he was talking about, and there was pretty nice jokes in there too.
Okay. All right, well, I thought the opening was pretty successful. You had a good claim that's very clear from the beginning. So we know what your argument's going to be, but there's no setup of what the content is going to be. There's no preview of that structure, and so organizationally it becomes problematic later on. It's an interesting perspective that you've got. I think you need to demonstrate that people are unwilling to watch a game or some other competition done without steroids. I think that there's a big presupposition that because some people believe that steroids make a difference, that it would have an effect on whether or not people are paying to go to the game or whether they would enjoy the games or the competition that's going on there. And I think that that's a little bit problematic. It's a presupposition on your part, and I think there needs to be some demonstration on that. You've got a few examples, but there's not much explanation about the impact that they had on the games or the competitions. You mentioned Marion Jones, for instance, but have athletes since her been able to match the records that she set? They've been able to exceed it without using the performance-enhancing drugs? If so, then the performance-enhancing drugs are not really the key issue here, because people can reach those kinds of levels. With Alex Rodriguez, for instance, that's another good example that you've got there, although the context in which Alex Rodriguez used the steroids prior to the testing process, I think, is a little bit, it might undermine your claim a little bit. You need a better argument about how steroids make the game more exciting. It just seems to be a presupposition on your part. Right at the very end, you seem to acknowledge that there are some arguments about steroid use that ought to be addressed, but your claim is that because steroids aren't legal and widely used, we haven't done any research on them, so we don't know what the negative consequences are, and that's a complete assertion on your part, and it seems to go contrary to all of the premises that are being used by the people who have put the restrictions on, imposed the rules that are in place. You're saying they don't know what the hell they're talking about, and I think that that's a big assertion on your part. You need to have a better argument on that particular point. Organizationally, I think it was a little bit problematic. It doesn't really follow a pattern. It just seems to go kind of from example to example, so it needs a little bit more focus. On presentation, there's very good variety in your voice, pretty good eye contact, but sometimes you're a little out of control, I guess, in the way you're delivering it with your gestures.